Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. This is the episode 2, season 1 of Dark. I actually reacted to Dark about 5 or 6 days ago, and if I'm not mistaken, it was up on the channel on a Friday or maybe a Saturday. And the thing is, I was actually going to react to it the other day, and what happened was I just wasn't in the mood for a show like that. I just wanted something like interesting, not interesting, but this is interesting. I wanted something like more positive and stuff, so I went with Stranger Things instead. Actually, Stranger Things episode 1 of, or rather, chapter 1 of season 1, the video is up today. It got unblocked and it is up today, so I will, attach that either in the end of this video or in the title cards. And I also have to talk about the constructive criticism that I got in the episode 1's comment section. A very generous and nice person had said a few things, few suggestions about the video, and one of them was that basically this whole thing, like that I do before and after the reaction, it's way too long. And I don't know exactly how I feel about that, though, because what I feel is that there are a couple of reaction channels I follow which do very less of these. So they'll be doing only 2 or 3 minutes of the start and about 5-10 minutes of discussion of the episode in itself. So the whole video comes out to be about 18 to 20 minutes. And I know reaction channels that do like 45-minute stuff, and even they have only 10 minutes of reaction, but they have about 5 to 10 minutes before, and they have about 20-25 minutes after. So what I have decided is that from now on I will try to remember to basically put the timings in the description so that people who want to just watch the reaction, they can easily click the timings and follow it. And the second thing is, they mentioned regarding the sound. I do know, and I am aware of the fact that my audio, well, there are two things. One, my audio might be low, though I think it has improved in the last few videos. But the second thing, which hasn't since the beginning actually, is that there might be a lot of, not a lot, but much more than you would usually find in a YouTube video, much more of a noise, the background noise. I am working on it. I do need a week or so to, just get used to all of these things. It has been only a week for me. And till now, I have been focused on making the content, and now I have to probably focus also on the editing aspects of it, essentially. And so that's the thing. I've already spent 3 minutes, as I just realized. So I'll get quickly into the whatever happened in episode 1. I have written a few names on this paper. If you do remember this paper, I have written a few names down here. I have written a couple of dates and timings, and I have also written time travel question mark. Uh, yeah, I think it's a time travel show. It's kind of obvious because, whenever, not that I have seen a lot of this, but whenever it does happen that a person dies and then, writes a letter to basically be opened in the future, I mean, how does he even know that it has to be opened at 10:13 unless he's playing a prank? I don't think this is that kind of a show. So yeah, it has to involve time travel somewhat. It just is a question of whether it's a time travel like The Flash, or it's a time travel like some other show which fully involves time travel, and every like important scene in it has a time travel element to it. So that's, I guess, interesting thing to find out, and maybe we'll get clues in this episode. Uh, is there anything like I have to particularly talk about now? I don't think so. I have written some time stream dream song. I think it was the one that came towards the end of the last episode. There was this song, I think, while the guy was like being tied up and this whole thing came to his face. I don't know why I have written it down. And we obviously saw like people like Katharina, Charlotte or Charlotte, Magnus, Regina. Eric Obendorf is obviously missing. We saw obviously Bartosz and Jonas. And there was this old man who was basically going Es et wieder passieren or something like that in German. Sorry guys, My German is not really that good. And I've written his name as Helga or Helge. So yeah, that's what's basically there in this paper, and I'm actually done with it because I have got a diary now. So yeah, that's essentially what happened in the first episode. I mean, I've not really talked about what happened in the first episode, but I do remember some of the faces, and after seeing this paper, I do remember some of the names. So what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, finally, I did mess up the audio in that, didn't I? When I say audio, I mean the audio of the show. I muted the song thinking that I would avoid copyright, but I forgot to unmute. So my audio was obviously audible, but the show's audio wasn't audible. And since any of whatever reaction I do while the song is on, if I don't unmute it, it's going to be cut out. And if I do mute it, then, and it's an important scene, let's imagine, then you will be able to listen to me. But in either cases, I have to remember to unmute it. So that's something that I have to remember. I've already made this mistake once. I actually made it again in another of the reactions. I don't remember which one. I think it may have been the Stranger Things episode 2, where I just forgot that this whole thing was muted for the first 30-40 seconds, and I remembered and I began the reaction again. So yeah, that's all for now. I'll start the reaction right away, and here we go. Who is this guy? Oh, we have a new guy. Okay. I don't think we saw him, did we? He was actually visiting a psychiatrist, right? Like, he was seeing his father and stuff. And I remember that he also, when Mikkel got missing, this guy actually saw. What is that? This guy saw his father covered in a material similar to that. Okay, so basically this is the thing that he has been seeing. Is this the door like to the place where Eric was there? Like there was this blue color thing around the room, right? So is this the opening for that room? Is that blood? Or just dirt of some kind? No, it feels like blood. It's just too red to be anything else, I think. The thing is, this guy is obviously lying. That's kind of obvious. And but the question is, there is no way he's hurting his grandson. I mean, I know that the show is called Dark, but there is no way the show is that dark. I mean, I could be wrong, but. Oh no. Did she just say red soil? Because we saw red color clothes, or rather a cloth which had a lot of red in it at one part, and it was Ulrich's father who had it. And I said basically that there is no way he was involved in it. Maybe he was. 86. But this is the same song I wrote. Time Stream Dream Song. Oh no.
koordiniert die Suche. Vorerst reden wir nicht über den Fund der Leiche an die Öffentlichkeit. Wir haben 2 verschwundene Kinder und einen Toten noch nicht identifiziert.
Dass das alles zusammenhängt. Er tut sich immer wie ein Augenblick. Später hast du recht. Es ist genauso wie damals. Mats ist immer an der gleichen Stelle verschwunden.
Yeah, but they,
Stimmt das noch? Das weiß ich nicht.
I mean, these people keep saying that it was first his mother who said that it's the same way, you know, things are happening again the same way. And if I'm not mistaken, she said that last episode too, but that time she said it to this guy. And she thought Charlotte sort of hinted at it last episode, and now this guy is again saying it to Charlotte that maybe everything is connected, or that, you know. But the problem I have is all of these people are only talking about Mads. Was there somebody else who disappeared at that time? But then nobody mentions that. So it's like saying, you know, if I had a, or if my, wherever I'm living, if it had sort of a, you know, I don't know what it's called as, you know, sort of a dark alley basically. And imagine that, you know, like 30 years ago or 35 years ago, there was like a person who went missing, and then their body has not been found yet, or something like that. And now, like yesterday, if some incident happens there and somebody else goes missing, and let's say some other person also goes missing like 2 weeks later from now, and if I just sit there and say, you know what, these incidents are connected, I mean, they could be connected, but they are like years apart, aren't they? So to say that the things are happening again, it feels like there is no basis for this. Yes, of course, there have been two incidents right till now. Like Ulrich's son Mikkel has gone missing, and obviously Eric Obendorf was missing when we began the show. But to say that these incidents are connected, I don't feel like there is a lot of basis in it. Plus, we don't even know where Eric went missing. We do know that he had his stash, like basically stashed away near the cave. But what, did he go missing there, or nobody has really any evidence or, you know, any facts about it? They just know that he is missing. They don't even know whether, like, they were speculating basically last episode that maybe Eric was like, you know, there was this line that Ulrich said to her, I think. He said something like, maybe people want to go, or people don't want to be found, or something like that. So from speculating about even his disappearance or the fact of it, they are now saying that incidents are connected, but there's no evidence of it, or there's no like basis for that assumption. And I do get that this guy is desperate, right? So I am accounting for that fact, but it just doesn't make sense. Oh, this guy wants a room?
Ich brauche ein Zimmer.
I mean, I have to be honest, right? If somebody dressed like that, looking like that, in all dirty and stuff, when I say dirty, I mean the way he looks, would come and ask me for a help, I would just run away. I mean, this guy looks like he's about to kill somebody, or he has just killed somebody. Obviously, but still. And I don't know, I just don't feel like this guy has done anything wrong. But like, we have already seen a couple of evidence of saying otherwise. I feel like they may be, no pun intended, red herrings. And yeah, so this just feels weird. I mean, I can't even begin to fathom the fact that this guy is probably even being considered as a suspect from the writing point of view. I mean, his grandson, I mean, I don't know. Oh, so we have another hood guy. So is this hood guy the guy who was there in the last episode, or in the last scene of the first episode? Or was it this guy, the suitcase guy? Because they both were wearing hoods, right? But I get a feeling that it was the guy who just came out of that cave. Which again gets me back to my theory that that room, the blue room, basically is there inside the cave. And it's probably a maze or something like that. So, not a maze, but people never really would have gone inside it just because it's a cave and it's, really difficult to get inside it. A journey through time, eine Reise durch die Zeit. Oh, this is a time machine. Surely this is a time machine. I mean, look at it. There are all these dials and stuff. Obviously, there is a song going to be in this, and now it's my prime responsibility to not mess it up. So first, I'm going to cut the volume, and then I'm going to play this. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I don't even know if this is going to be in the reaction video in YouTube. I mean, the problem here is that that guy is cheating on his wife, this guy, and he has lost his son, and he was actually, wasn't he kissing Hannah at the same time when he went missing? And she's calling him. And obviously Magnus was responsible for Mikkel in a way because he was the guy who decided to take him to the place in the night. So he's obviously feeling guilty about all of these things. And then we have Katharina, who is like, I don't think she has done anything wrong as of now, but she has obviously lost a son. And she is sort of struggling with the fact that she was with Jonas, I'm sure. And now she's with Bartosz and she's ignoring him. And she's probably thinking of the fact that Mikkel basically said, if somebody is dead, then they should be found, or something like that. Oh, dude, don't do that. That hurts. That really hurts. There you go. But yeah, I do understand his problem. Like, I get it, right? Okay. I do remember now that I have to unmute this. Here we go. Damn, is that Winton's map? And it seems like it's handwritten. Swinton Caves! Dude! This is the map of the caves, are you kidding me? Oh, there's a phone. It's probably Eric's phone. Enter code, 3 attempts remaining. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You idiot, Bartosz. Everybody wants to be Sherlock when they are not. So, the map. How is that the map of the cave? Is the cave like for 2-3 kilometers or something? Rückseitsnicht. What's Rückseitsnicht? Where is the crossing? Where is the crossing to another time? Surely that's what it means. Oh, please don't tell me there's a dead body in there. Oh, no, 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 no. I trusted this guy to have not killed his son. Is that a... Like, surely that's not a body. I mean, he's picking it up so easily. Like, while he's pulling it up, basically. Is that a... Is that a head? Oh, it's just a bag.
Lass das fallen. Lass das fallen, hab ich gesagt.
Not gonna shoot the cop, mate.
Ulrich,
Unless you have something to hide, of course. Oh, that's his drugs. I mean, yeah, fuck it.
Was ist das?
Eric's dead. And his eyes are fried. Oh no. Is that... Oh, there are two hooded guys. I don't know which hooded guy this is. Basically, both the episodes are hinting at the same things. Oh, okay. Oh, so the lights are flickering everywhere. Because a door in the cave has been opened. The door of the blue room. Surely. And which makes sense, because if the device in the blue room is a time sort of machine, then that being operated is the reason for these light flickerings, power surges and stuff like that. Surely. When is Mikkel? Time travel, of course. That scene confirms it.
Wer bist du?
Wer bist du?
Mikkel. Ich wohne hier.
Ulrich. Und ich wohne hier.
Oh, he went to the past.
Jetzt wohnst du schon?
He's meeting his father.
Hey Ulrich!
Oh, dude. Which probably makes her Katharina. That's what I was going to say.
Ich bin vom Café, du wohnst nicht hier.
Oh, dude. So is this like the 90s? Or 80s?
Sieht man dort. Oh, Katharina.
I mean, does he recognize them? And like at least by names and stuff? Oh, that's 86. Okay. Oh. Alright. Oh god. That was a very good episode. I feel like this was a better episode than the first one. Like the first one was a setup, right? And most of the setup episodes for a good show are not necessarily as good as the show. So I can forgive that. I have 15 points of discussion. So, you know, for the person who commented in that video saying that, you know, you're making a long video, well, this is going to be a long video. I can't help it. I mean, there are so much to discuss. But I did have like only a 5 or 6 minute in the beginning. And this is going to be like 10 minutes of the reaction. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to like set the timer so that you would know where the beginning of the reaction is and where the ending of the reaction is. And people who are interested in just those parts can easily navigate themselves within the video. And for people who are interested in some or all aspects of the discussion, well, you're most welcome to stay. Because I can't, the whole point of me doing reaction channels and stuff like that is that I want to feel like I am I want to feel like I'm actually talking about it to somebody, and because not all the shows are watched by everybody, so I would rather talk to the random public basically. And if anybody is interested in commenting and stuff like that, of course you can do that, and we can have a discussion in the comment section. So yeah, I have 15 points of discussion, and I'll try to begin with the worst one perhaps, which is Eric buying a scooter. I mean, I don't know this, so people can help me out with this. Uh, how much does a scooter cost in Germany? Does that cost uh, like very less or something? Because he basically had a bottle of coins, right? And in India, the denomination of, I mean, the coin basically, like the highest denomination is like 5 or 10 rupees, and those did not look like 10 rupee coins. I mean, obviously that was not Indian, but you know what I mean. They didn't look like the highest denomination, and basically they found those coins from like metal scrap and stuff like that. So even if he had a jar full of those, surely he wouldn't have that much amount of money to buy a scooter. I don't know. That was something that did not bother me, but that's something that I did note down. And I do have a 15-point discussing points basically, because first of all, I cannot incorporate everything in a reaction. What happens is, if I pause and talk about something for 2 minutes and I unpause it, it's sort of irritating for the person who is watching the reaction, which I do get because I have watched a lot of reactions on YouTube myself, and that's why I did not do a lot of them. I paused the video a couple of times. I am aware of that, but that was just unavoidable, I guess. But this is the reason I have a 15-point discussion thing. And the second one is basically Bartosz code breaking. What an idiot. Like, seriously, mate. The first thing you should not do when you find a phone that you are not, you don't know the code to unlock the phone, you don't try a random one. Because I do get, right, like you see a lot of memes in Facebook and stuff where people are like, I have my password as 1234 or QWERTY, stuff like that. But that doesn't happen in real life. People almost always have like some form of like birth dates, their name and stuff like that. And it almost felt to me as if Bartosz just tried 4 random digits. Like he didn't even wait to think of like Eric's birth date or something. So yeah, I felt that was stupid, and I feel like that's going to come around in like the next episode or towards the end of the season. Like probably there'll be a situation where there'll be like one code left, and like Bartha should probably be thinking, what, I was stupid to try that and waste an attempt. So yeah, that was another thing. And talking of Eric buying a scooter, Eric is dead. And Eric is certainly dead. I mean, I'm pretty much sure that was Eric. Which brings me to the hooded guys, because the first time we saw a hooded guy was, I think, the last scene of the first episode, where he was basically tying Eric up to that machine sort of thing with the band. The second time we saw a hooded guy was the stranger guy who took a room at Regina's hotel. The third time we saw was a hooded guy in the entrance of the cave, coming from inside the cave basically. And that made me like almost certain that there are 2 hooded guys basically. And if there are 2 hooded guys, then which was the person who was dragging Eric's body? Because for some reason I feel it was the guy who came from the cave, because the hooded guy we saw in Regina's hotel, it felt to me as if that guy stayed at the hotel. Like from the point we saw him to the end of the episode, the time frame, I felt like he was always there in that room, like studying the board, sticking up the pictures and stuff, writing on the paper basically saying where is Mikkel was written, the headlines. He changed it to when is Mikkel. So yeah, I feel like it was the second hooded guy, but I might be wrong in that. Or at least I may not be wrong, but there might be a third hooded guy, which I don't think is possible. Or maybe it was this guy. So unless of course it's made clear, I think, yeah, I just have to assume that it was the other guy. Yeah, nuclear waste. That's my theory for what they were loading into the truck. Like we had Bartosh's father, I don't remember his name. Uh, that guy was like, talking to Jürgen Jürgen Ubendorf, like saying that he made this quote about what's the difference between successful and unsuccessful people, which he couldn't answer. So he went exactly, and I feel like that guy was, I think, loading nuclear waste because what else is there in a nuclear power plant? Unless, of course, they had some sort of an accident. But even, yeah, that wouldn't make sense because if there was an accident which created time travel, bringing in more people into that fact is sort of a dangerous thing to do. I don't think that that guy would do something like that. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't think that the accident or any accident happened in the nuclear power plant. I think it's probably the radiations along with the device that the hooded guy was building in that blue room, which is probably using, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the science stuff behind this because all science in a time travel show, any time travel show, is just bullshit because that doesn't exist in real life. Like, whatever science you want to say, if you don't say complete rubbish, if you don't say stuff like we have used water as the fuel, that's never going to happen. But apart from that, most of the believable things are like, you could say that they could be true or they could be false. So yeah, I have a feeling that that was just nuclear waste. And maybe another red herring in this whole show, because I feel like this is a very trippy show. And talking of red herrings, red clothes. I think this is one of the bigger talking points of this episode because Tronta or Tronte Nielsen, Ulrich's father, basically, I don't know his name, I think it was Tronta. He was basically like had this cloth which was putting into the washer, which had like red, basically looking like blood, right? I thought it was blood, and then there was this discussion happening in the police station about where the body was found and that it had some red soil in it near the body. But then that basically meant for me that Tronta was responsible for killing his grandson, or at least moving the body, which in either case basically means being a part of, what is it called as? Abetting or something, like if you didn't commit the murder but you like helped doing it, stuff like that. I don't know the exact legal term, I forgot. Aiding and abetting, is that it? Yeah, so yeah, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like that's a red herring because there is no way they are basically having a grandfather kill a grandson. And that basically moved into the Jurgen stuff where Ulrich had this idea that Jürgen was responsible for Mikkel as well as Eric's disappearance, which I don't understand, right? There are a lot of shows where you have fathers killing their daughters or kidnapping sons and stuff like that. Even sons kidnapping fathers and stuff. I mean, either of them have happened, but yeah, that guy feels genuine. Jürgen feels genuine. I don't think that he's some sort of a criminal mastermind or something like that. So, this episode was basically called Lies, Lügen. I think that's the pronunciation. I feel like this show basically, or this episode basically told a lot of lies to the viewers. Like, they obviously told the truths, right? They showed what they were showing, but what they were meaning was completely different from what they were showing. And I think that's probably a clever wordplay from their part, maybe. And yeah, I have actually written here that minute 20 Jonas is alone. I think I know what I'm talking about. I think it was that scene where he was basically lying on the floor in that shed sort of place where his father committed suicide. And the thing is, like, of course, Bartosz, I don't know how good friends Bartosz and Jonas are. It does seem like they are very good friends. And I mean, of course, Bartosz lied, right? That he had gone to France and stuff. Good friends do that. So I'm not going to judge their friendship. But what I feel is that Jonas basically had people to talk to before his father passed away. People to talk to, when I say that, I mean people like Martha, people like obviously Bartosz, but I even feel like, he probably had a good rapport with Martha's brother. I forgot his name. Magnus. So suddenly after his father's death, obviously, perspective changes, like a lot of people see in a different way. I get that. And probably because of that, and as well as the fact that he and Martha aren't together anymore. So I don't know if he has anybody to talk to. And while I'm saying this, there is this beautiful scene, not beautiful, but it's a good scene between him and I've not written her name here. I don't know what her name is. Her mother, his mother basically. And there's this scene where they're like talking about, did she think that his father was lying about something when he got the map and stuff from the shed, like hidden somewhere. And I feel like he probably doesn't have anybody to talk to. And, he was obviously talking to his psychiatrist and stuff. But, psychiatrist, the relationship between a patient and a psychiatrist is more professional. Like, yes, of course, you talk about your inner feelings and stuff like that, but it's not the same like talking to a very good friend. And I feel like it's my personal theory, right? I don't think guy friends really talk to each other about these kind of things, not that often at least. So maybe he's missing that Martha in his life effectively, and maybe we'll see. I mean, we are obviously going to see some sort of, at least a flashback, or maybe some sort of clippings or scenes where these people are interacting with each other, Martha and Jonas. Maybe there's something in the show where they're going to be together or something like that. Though that would obviously mean that he's going to be like against Bartosz then, because he's the only good friend he has at the moment, I think. So if he does get together with Martha, which basically means end of the Jonas Bartosz friendship. And I mentioned map, which brings me to my next point, which is Winden Caves map. That's huge. That was proper huge. I literally thought that was a map of the Winden town and not the caves when I first saw it. And like, is the cave like 1.5 2 kilometers in distance or something? Like, it's like a maze and there's a map for it? Because for some reason I just thought that when they said caves, I just thought that this would be like a 200-meter stuff with like a lot of stones and boulders and stuff like that in the path, which basically means there is no actual path in the caves. But maybe because there is a map, maybe it's a map to the room inside the cave. And that's one of my running theories. It's that the blue room is inside the cave, and whenever they open the door to the room, we get that loud sound. Maybe the sound is part of the workings of the time machine, and that's probably the reason a lot of lights are flickering in the town and birds are falling dead. I mean, we have dead birds, right? A lot of dead birds. So maybe it's also creating some sort of like radiation. Like, there are a lot of conspiracy theory right now about 5G and birds dropping dead. Maybe they are going down a similar route where time travel, like radiation and stuff, is probably causing the dead birds. That would make a lot of sense, because we have a blue room and there was a door which could not be opened, which had that radiation symbol on it that Ulrich was trying to open. Maybe that's not the door to the caves, but a door to a room inside the cave. I don't know, maybe that or maybe something else. I just felt that the map was just huge. And obviously, I have also written where is the crossing. I think that actually means that actually basically ascertains my point that maybe there's a room there, and maybe through that room, or there's a machine in that room, maybe that nobody knows about because the cave is like basically there is no path inside the cave. I mean, if you don't know anything about the cave, if you don't have the map, then you wouldn't possibly ever find out that there is a room inside the cave. So maybe that's the question that was there. Where is the crossing? And the person who made the map did not know where the crossing was. So that's kind of interesting, I thought. And talking of the door, obviously Ulrich went to talk to Alexander, right? That was one of those discussions I felt like nobody was wrong. I mean, yes, the show is making Alexander out to be a bad guy, not allowing Ulrich inside. But if that nuclear power plant is like a government run thing, you just can't let people inside it. I mean, it's the same thing that's happening at Stranger Things, where there is this government lab, and again, even there, they're making the laboratory people to be the bad guys. Maybe they are, but just because you think they're a bad guy, or just because you are searching something, in this case, Mikkel, you just can't go inside. I mean, there are rules in place for a reason, and of course, rules are broken, and there's a lot of bribery and stuff in the real world. But I don't know, I just felt that discussion, nobody was wrong. Yes, of course, Ulrich was right in, show some courtesy, show some, friendliness and stuff like that. Like, Ulrich is not going to sell, like, nuclear power plant secrets or something like that to somebody. So, I think both were right, and it was an interesting watch. And Ulrich feels like that sort of a guy who will be like, especially after seeing his scene with Mikkel, younger Mikkel in 1986, 5th November 1986. I feel like he was this sort of a brat sort of person who, he's good with the girls, he's a brat, he's like really angry, getting angry quickly, that sort of a person. Very emotional. So that sort of a character is very interesting to watch if done well in a show. I've already gone 1 hour 10 minutes in the recording, and this has to be about 20, 25, 35, about 40, 45 minutes again. I am going to put the timestamp on the video description if I don't forget. So 5th November 1986, obviously Mikkel is in 1986 then. You know what, I'll talk about this towards the end. I have 3 points left apart from this, and that the first one is Franziska and Magnus. They had this weird couple of scenes in episode 1, and they have had another one in this episode. Like, I don't know what the show is going for there, because I do get that Magnus is feeling guilty, but there were moments in that discussion where I felt like Franziska liked Magnus. So I thought that, maybe she likes him. But I felt the same thing in the first episode, but the roles were reversed. When Franziska was talking to Magnus, I just felt like Magnus liked her. So maybe the show is going for something like that, where both of them basically like each other. And maybe this is the way we are going to see their relationship develop throughout the... Just a second, guys, I'm turning on my charger. So maybe this is how the show is basically having them get together towards the end of this season, or maybe the next. So yeah, that was interesting. And talking of Franziska, we had Peter Doppler crying. His name is Peter, right? I think his name is Peter. I sort of heard it in like some passing somewhere. That guy was crying, and that guy actually talked to Charlotte last episode, where he made a call and he was like, I have to tell you something, and nothing came out of it. And then now again we had just literally one scene where he was just sitting and crying. Surely Mikkel is not his son. There is no way they're going down that route. And there is no other like evidence pointing to even his involvement in this whole thing. Like we have seen like his father, right? Sorry, his grandfather, Mikkel's grandfather. There are a couple of scenes indicating that he might be involved, but there's literally nothing showing that this guy is involved. Which makes me wonder, why was he crying? I mean, if he was like, let's say, laughing, then that's one thing. But crying is like a sort of emotion you have when you're sort of feeling helpless or like something sad has happened. But both are, both the people in his family are like safe. Like Charlotte is not like mortal danger or anything like that, and Francisca is obviously doing fine. And actually, I mean, we haven't really seen either of them talk to him, so I don't know what he was crying about. So that was interesting, and that's something to look out for, I think. And the second last topic of this discussion is the stranger. When I say the stranger, I mean the guy we saw in the beginning of the episode picking up that dead bird. So this is what the stranger did, right? He picked up the dead bird. He saw that a lot of people are searching for Mikkel. He then went and took a room in the hotel where nobody is staying. And he had a room and he was inside the room and he stuck up a lot of these black hole or wormhole. There was this symbol that was also there. And he stuck these photos and stuff, right? He stuck those newspaper clippings. He went and took a bath. He came out and he had this machine which looked like a time machine. I'm not lying. That literally, if you told me that here was the show, and if they suddenly showed that thing, I'll be like, is that time machine or something like that? Because that they had like dials and stuff that was like rotating. Some things were rotating basically in it. It just felt like some sort of a futuristic sort of device, maybe. So that's something interesting. Yeah, and then Stranger's activities. I mean, I've written Stranger's activities here, but what else did he do? He obviously did that when, where stuff in the When is Mikkel. I have this theory. I don't like this theory, but I'm kind of hesitant to say it out loud because we have had literally, I don't think, any evidence of this till now. But is the stranger Mikkel? He's probably the right age. If I think about it, Mikkel is what, 9 or 10? He has gone to 86 and this is 2019 now. If we imagine that Mikkel is going to stay in 86 and grow up, then surely the stranger is like 40, in his 40s. Mikkel would be in his 40s. So, but that wouldn't make sense in a way, because why wouldn't he go to his parents, or why would he go to Regina's hotel? That's what I don't understand if he was Mikkel. Probably not. I mean, I don't even think that's... I think Mikkel is coming back to this time, 2019. It's just a question of when and not if, I think, because there is no way they're letting Mikkel stay in 80s and like they have to have some sort of a connect between the two times. I feel like he might be the connect probably. He's probably like, surely he has time traveled. I mean, I don't know how he has time traveled, maybe through the blue room, but people in the blue room seem to die. And when I say people, I mean just Eric. I thought that, the blue room people are probably killing others for some reason. But if Mikkel survived, surely he came through the blue room, because what else there is a time, where else do we have a time machine? Unless, of course, the stranger is Mikkel and he basically time traveled himself, his younger self, to the past. That's a theory, right? That's a theory. And this is what I was going to talk about. 5th November 1986. This is the theory that I had. Like, maybe, just maybe, Mikkel went missing. Not because Mikkel was like kidnapped by the bad guys or the guys who just killed Eric, but because he was taken by his future self and put into the past to probably protect him from something harming, some harm that is happening. But the thing is, I don't know if this show is like The Flash or like. When I say The Flash, I mean, is this show like where, if you see a time travel happening in the front of your eyes, and then time changes basically. There are certain things that change. Is this like that, or is this like whatever you do, it's going to stay the same? Like a predestination. I think predestination is a good example. Yeah, I think predestination is sort of a good example for this scenario. Shit. Where you basically have it's a closed loop sort of thing. Maybe, I don't know. This has been a good episode, right? But the problem is I have to do another reaction now because this is the day that I picked for doing 2 reactions. So this will be going up tomorrow, that is 3rd November, and it should be unblocked by the end of the week. And the same way, I'm also reacting to Queen's Gambit episode 2 season 1 now in about 10 minutes. And even that would be going up on the channel tomorrow and should be unblocked by the end of the week. So meanwhile, I have already uploaded episode 2 of Stranger Things season 1, which should be unblocked before these 2. And I have Arrow planned for tomorrow, which will be coming up day after tomorrow, which is a Wednesday. And because Arrow got unblocked very quickly, I'm expecting that to happen again. So Arrow should be up on the channel on Wednesday. And there are a couple of football stuff. There is Football Manager I'm doing on Wednesday, which will be up on Thursday, and I'll probably be doing some sort of a preview for United versus Istanbul on Tuesday, which will also be up on the channel on Wednesday. So that's sort of the schedule for now, because the thing is, I can't really say about schedules simply because I don't know when the things are going to get unblocked, and because I don't know when they're going to get unblocked, I can't really be sure of when they are going to be up on the channel. But things which are not going to be blocked, I can say safely that the football stuff and even Arrow, which got unblocked pretty quickly, should be up on the channel as I told before. So that's all for this reaction. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, share and subscribe. Your support is really important to me. The support similar to what the person whose name I forget commented on the previous reaction to this Dark episode 1. I don't know if I have tried. I mean, I've certainly not tried to reduce the time of this reaction, but what I will be doing is I'll be putting the timestamp in the description. So hopefully you would be fine with that. Audio issues, I don't know. I'll probably look into it tomorrow or for some other video so that I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll try to do something about it. That's all for now. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.